that's me in the corner by the spotlight, strumming a 10-string ukulele. Now this particular model comes from the OHANA Ukulele Company, part of the handcrafted series, and this is model number TK-35G-10. Bit of a mouthful. Let's have a look at some of the features that may make you want to choose it. It's a 10-stringed instrument, and it's a tenor scale, and it's a mahogany body, solid mahogany top, mahogany sides and back with the simple binding, and the neck is also mahogany and probably a little bit thicker than what you're used to for a ukulele. Obviously this is to cope with the additional stresses of the additional strings, and the bridge is a little heavier than probably what you're used to seeing, again to deal with the stresses, I should imagine. The rosewood fingerboard there are no markings at all on this fingerboard. It's nice and plain, and I like it like that. But there weren't any dots down the edges, and I've had to put my own dots on there at the 3, 5, 7 and 12 frets. Minor complaint and an easy fix, and nothing to worry about. And up at the headstock, it's the slotted headstock with geared tuners. And this slotted headstock is the kind of thing you've probably seen on maybe old Martins, old National guitars, Alan Lomax's chauffeur, Leadbelly. He used to play a stellar 12-string. It reminds me of that. I kind of like it. And the overall appearance of the instrument is one of a vintage instrument. I was quite surprised to find out that it was first introduced in 1919 by the Martin Guitar Company. They took and redesigned a South American instrument called a T-play, and they brought this out as part of the ukulele range and put it on the market as the Martin 10-string tipple. Anyway, the body, by the way, if I had another tenor to compare it to, is probably about an inch deeper than a standard tenor model. Even though the size of this is the same, it's a bit deeper. And this extra depth gives you a feeling in your gut when you play it. You can feel the vibrations coming through. It's a very nice feeling. It's almost like it wants to leap off your lap. Anyway, back to the strings. 10 strings, like I said, and the tuning of this instrument is that of a standard ukulele, G, C, E, A, and the configurations of the strings is as follows. You've got I, G and a low G. The C string, you've got 3 C strings, 2 high and 1 low one in the middle. Now this next bit is going to sound a bit Hawaiian. You've got a I, E, low E, I, E. 3 E strings. And a pair of A strings tuned in unison. Almost tuned in unison. Quick one on the tuning, by the way. You don't have to turn the pegs as far as what you're used to maybe on a nylon strung instrument. The steel strings, it's a lot finer tuning that's required. You don't need a heavy hand. These strings won't stretch nowhere near as far as nylon strings, so you've got to be a bit careful and a bit finer. But once you get it in tune, it's well worth it. It's a glorious sound. You get a lot of overtones, octaves ringing, harmonics chiming out, so it's got to be pretty spot on. One thing I did notice, and it was one of the first things I looked at, was the internal bracing of the instrument, and something a lot of people you don't normally have to consider when you're choosing an instrument. But let me explain for a minute. The nylon strung instruments, generally you'll find the internal struts or bracing is, which is there to add stability and strength to your instrument, stop it folding in on itself. They're generally what they call ladder braced. And that's perfectly fine, acceptable for a nylon strung instrument, but a steel stringed instrument with the additional stresses on the top, they generally use what's known as cross bracing. And this is one of the first things I checked. I just thought I'll see if they've, taken the time to sort it out, and they have. Maybe I can get a better picture. But if you look at the bracing on the top, it is as you would expect for a steel-strunged instrument, cross bracing. So overall, it's a good looking, a good sounding instrument. Now the overall dimensions of the instrument means that it will fit into a tenor ukulele case. Unfortunately, you probably won't be able to close it. But it does fit in nicely and snugly into a mandolin case, so there's no worries there if you need to find something to package it up in on your travels. And I will be taking this out with the lads in the band. If you see Chonkinfeckle knocking about, come and say hello. Come and have a try on it. I think you'll be quite surprised. I can see this instrument being great for solo performers. I can see it sitting nice against a standard nylon ukulele. The contrast between steel strings and nylon strings is always nice. I can see it working in a club setting, maybe instead of everybody just strumming away on your standard ukulele, to put something like this into the mix, especially on tunes that feature mandolin. I think it would work a treat. Thank you to the OHANA Ukulele Company for putting this in my hands. I will be doing a video with the lads as soon as I get the chance. And like I say, if you see us out on the road, come and say hello. And in the meanwhile, thanks for watching. And as they say around here, well, I'll city.